Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dream of owning a home or investing in one. Today, I want to go over two recent events that have happened. One, Ice Cube has come up with the contract to Black America. And the second one that I want to do is a comparison to Puff Daddy's The Black Agenda. Because as many of you know, Puff Daddy wants to create a third political party for just Black people, pretty much. Or I guess, I'm assuming it wasn't necessarily clear, even for those who want to support Black people. Because you do have a lot of people who are not Black but who are our allies. What I've noticed, though, is that Ice Cube has been getting a lot of heat for saying that he wants to vote for Trump, while Puff Daddy has not. I don't know who Puff Daddy is going to vote for, but one thing I do know is that he's a Republican. So I would not be surprised if he also voted for Trump as well. I just feel as though if you're going to attack one person, you really should go after both, if you will. But anyway, let me break down the contract to Black America. Ice Cube, as you know, he mentioned that Trump's platinum plan is going to be implementing or has already implemented what's in his contract. I don't really see that, and I will definitely touch on that a little bit later. To me, the contract to Black America is actually more similar to Biden's plan and to the Jobs and Justice Act of the Black Caucus. That's just my opinion. I've read both of them, particularly when it came to real estate. I have to admit, the Jobs and Justice Act, I haven't read the entire thing because it's like it looks like it's over 50 or maybe even 100 pages long. I don't have that type of time, okay? So I basically just focused on the real estate portion of it and all aspects that affect real estate. Okay, so let's get into it. The contract to Black America. One of the points that it mentioned that I did not see mentioned in any of the other documents that I thought was good was that he says that districts can't be redesigned to minimize Black votes. I have definitely, living here in New York City, seen that. I have seen where also people who don't even live in a particular district are running for that office and actually get that office. It makes no sense. The next thing is there should be more polling sites in Black neighborhoods. I completely agree with that. See, even though Harlem is 60% white, they say that 80,000 Black people live here. That's a lot. Going to the polls, particularly, I tried to go to the polls today. The line was over 4 blocks long. We couldn't even find the end of the line. That's how bad it was, okay? So yes, I agree. There should definitely be more polling sites in African American communities. Next, that's mentioned that there should be a financial infrastructure in areas that have no Black bank. Excuse me. I'm not really certain what he means by financial infrastructure. Does he mean that he wants to see more banks? Does he mean that there should be credit unions set up? To me, that particular area is a very gray area for me that I would need clarification on from Ice Cube. Next, he mentioned that there should be a one-time interest-free loan offered for home ownership. I'm definitely for that. He also believes that there should be asset building grants for home ownership because one of the main reasons why there is a wealth gap within the African American community is because of lack of home ownership. And that was mainly due to redlining and discrimination. Okay. Next thing that he wants to do is he wants to audit opportunity zones to see who is really profiting off of them. I am definitely open to this as well, because many times when it comes to contractors to build and redevelop those areas, it's not given to the people who live in those areas. It's given to people who live outside of those areas. And then the next thing you know, what happens? Gentrification. Okay. He also emphasizes that we should have tax breaks and tax credits. And I see where he's going with that, I guess, because a lot of people, when I've studied the reparations formula, we are actually due $1 trillion, right? Oh, more than $1 trillion, honestly. The government may not be able to handle giving us that amount of money all at once, at one time. So giving us tax breaks, tax credits, or not allowing us to even pay taxes at all, which, to be honest, I kind of agree with that as well. That will be a little bit easier for the country to handle on a financial basis. So I get where he's going with that. And then lastly, the other thing that he's mentioned is that he believes that for families, low-income families, particularly those who make less than $46,500, some sort of trust fund should be set up for them from our government in the amount of $1,000. The government would be responsible for managing and maintaining that account. When that child turns 18, they can pull the money out only to either buy a home, start a business, or further their education. So I think there's a lot of good points that he has brought up. But what I'm going to do right now is I am going to bring up the Black Agenda. Now, in my opinion, the Black Agenda is a lot like Ice Cube's plan. I don't really see too much of a difference, but I am going to read through all of the instances where they talk about real estate so that you can do your own thought or evaluation. And again, a lot of things that's in Puff Daddy's The Black Agenda is actually in the Jobs and Justice Act of the Black Caucus. Okay? Number one, they mention that they want to pass the American Housing and Economic Mobility Act, which increases housing affordability by controlling rents and housing prices. 2, they want to improve the housing voucher program. They want to fully fund HUD's budgets for public housing and Section 8 vouchers. They want to invest more in affordable rentable homes. And they mention that the reason to this is because no state has an adequate supply of affordable rental units for their lowest income renters. And the lack of mid-level rental units is driving up living costs for middle-class earners. They claim that the federal government should invest in increasing housing supply across the board and ensure that the funds go toward the communities that need them the most. Next, they want to incentivize local governments to reduce land use restrictions that drive up the cost of new home construction. I'm not clear on what they mean by that, to be quite honest with you, but that is what they have listed. Next, they want to strengthen anti-discrimination laws. I guess that's also because of the fact that the recent Affirmative Affordable Housing Act was canceled. Next, they want to increase the support for affordable home ownership by expanding home buyer programs that would help more people. Next, They want to enact federal grant assistance programs for historically redlined communities, assisting home buyers in those areas with down payments and closing costs. Next, they want to ban predatory lending practices and protect consumers from mortgage discrimination that makes it difficult for Black borrowers to secure loans at fair rates. This is very true. Many of you, I'm not sure if you looked at the podcast, listened to the podcast, or looked at my video that I did on rejection. When I did that particular video, honestly, I wasn't sure that I was being discriminated against, but it was actually recently confirmed by someone who used to process mortgages that I met. He was saying that because my name, my first name, I normally use my short name or I just use L, but my real name is from another country. And he mentioned that because it is somewhat unique, that they probably were trying to figure out if I was a terrorist, which is very funny to me because I've never even been to the Middle East. I've been everywhere else except for there. And he was saying the reason why they would ask me questions like, oh, you have such a nice name, where is it from, and where's your parents from, and this, that, and the third, that it had to do with the fact that my name was different. And like many other African Americans, we have unique names. Some of us have common names, but some of us don't. And I didn't even realize this, but he says, yes, they do discriminate based on your name. All right, let me get back to the topic at hand. I just wanted to give you that little tidbit. Anyway, the next thing is they want to roll back corporate tax cuts and close tax loopholes to ensure that corporations and the wealthy pay their fair share. They want to redistribute these funds to boost funding for social safety net programs and investment in critical infrastructure projects. Next, they want to fund and support community-led climate action plans that allow communities to develop their own infrastructure projects to address place-based climate needs like affordable and sustainable housing developments, bike lanes, urban greening projects. They want to promote energy democracy, community ownership of renewable energy generations that would boost low-income communities and help close racial wealth gaps. As many of you know, I believe this is addressing the fact that President Trump did not believe that we had a climate change problem. He didn't see anything wrong with the environment at all. And not only that, when it came down to the virus, Biden and Obama, they had a team to monitor the virus. When he got into office, he dismantled that whole team altogether. Okay, so I believe this particular paragraph is addressing those issues. Then lastly, what Puffy's group wants to do is expand the earned income tax credit that supplements wages and helps offset payroll and income taxes for low and moderate income workers. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the two plans. One from Ice Cube, one from Puffy. As you can see, very similar. There are a little extra additions that one had that the other one did not have. However, if you go through the Jobs and Justice Act, it does address a lot of the points that was presented in both the Contract for Black America and the Black Agenda. So guys, what are your thoughts? Share your feelings. I will be posting this on YouTube so that you can feel free to give your opinion. Again, I do find it quite weird that Congress members who created this bill back in 2018, the President, Trump, has not gone over it or approved it, but yet he wants to approve Ice Cube's plan or implement that inside of the Platinum Plan. And Ice Cube, not to say that he's out of step, but it's evident to me, and he's also admitted that he is beginning to learn the system. The politicians, our Black Caucus, they already know the system. So that's basically what's been on my mind. That's what I wanted to share with you. Please feel free to share this amongst your friends and even your enemies. Okay? Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.